Hey everybody, I'm here with Cody Berman. How you doing, Cody?
Good, Juno. How are you?
Great. I wanted to have you on my channel because you have an interesting story. You do print on demand and have done it for a while, but recently or last year, you started a new Etsy shop and got it to $1,000 a month in just 116 days. And then this year, you turned around with that same shop and made it get $4,000 a month. Is that right? Am I hearing that right?
That is correct. Yeah, I
Wow,
uh
that's
I got
crazy.
a little fire. I had a hater comment, so I'm a content creator just like you. And basically, so I started selling digital products back in 2018, and I create
Yeah.
content telling people how to do keyword research, how to list certain products, how to do different things. Like I'll talk about today on this episode, like my template method. And I had one person say, "Oh, must be nice. You started back in 2018. You could never replicate that success. Like Etsy
Mm.
is so oversaturated." So I'm like, okay, let me start a brand new Etsy shop. I'm not going to link to it anywhere. I'm not going to advertise it on social media, nothing. I'm just going to start this shop in a silo, use these strategies that I know, which is primarily keyword research and SEO, search engine optimization. And let's see how fast I could get this shop up to $1,000 per month. So my goal was to get a screenshot of saying like last 30 days on Etsy, $1,000. And I did that in 116 days. We can talk about all the methods, all the strategies, all the stuff I used to get to there today. But yeah, I was honestly fueled by a hater who said, "Hey, Cody, you still got the chops?" And I was like, let's see.
Nice. You showed them that it worked. That's cool.
It
All
worked.
right. Was that the only reason you wanted to do it? The main reason was to just show people that you can do it today, in 2025, I guess 2024 and 2025. Now we're in 2026, but I'm sure the same principles still work, right, on Etsy.
It's the same exact principles. I almost said printables because that's the things I sell. But it's the same
That's true.
exact principles, right? Like it's always been keyword research and SEO. And I know these sound like jargony terms, like what's keyword research? Basically, what keyword research is figuring out what people are typing into the search bar on Etsy and then creating the products that those people are looking for. Like that's keyword research in a nutshell. And way before back when I started creating, like Canva was awful. That's what I was using back in the day. I mean, we did not have nearly the resources that we have today. There was no such thing really as AI. We didn't really have all these keyword research tools. So like we have a lot better tools now, but the core strategy is the same. So that was a big reason why I started that shop, just to show people like, hey, this stuff that I talked about and then I did back in 2018, 2019 to quit my job and hit financial independence, like these same exact things still work today. So yeah, that hater comment kind of fueled me, but I'm like, this is honestly going to be good practice for me as well. Like I know sometimes I can get really comfortable and my regular Etsy shop is just chugging along, doing pretty good. So I'm having this new Etsy shop kind of working in a silo is just good practice for me too, to see like, are the things that I'm talking about, are the things that I'm teaching still working today? And the answer, thankfully, was yes.
Nice. Oh, perfect. That's good to hear. Now, I'm thinking, well, my question is, you started back in 2018. Was there anything that you did differently because of, you said a lot of the same things work, but is there anything that you did do differently in 2024, 2025 from 2018?
Yeah, my printables digital products journey was not glamorous at the beginning. When I first started selling, I would just create random stuff because I thought it would sell. I didn't know anything about using data or keyword research or search engine optimization. I would literally just create something in Canva. It wouldn't look very good. Nobody was searching for it, and so it wouldn't make any sales. I think honestly, June, my first maybe 20 products were just complete flops. Like I probably spent hours creating each one of those products, but they had no search demand. Like nobody was typing those
Wow.
things into the search bar. And so it was kind of demoralizing, but I'm like, okay, other people can figure this out. Like I can figure this out. What am I doing wrong? Eventually, I stumbled into keyword research and like, oh, maybe I should create things that people are actually searching for. So that was back in 2018. With this new shop, I already knew all that stuff. So I wasn't
Hmm.
going and just creating random products on a whim. I was making sure that all of the products I was creating were data backed. Like, okay, I want to create a planner. I type in, planner into a keyword research tool and see what variations of that planner people are actually searching for. Some people might be searching for a meal planner. Some people might be searching for a budget planner. Some people might be searching for some kind of a health planner. So like I would actually use the keyword research data that I was searching, that I was researching to make informed decisions about what I would create versus back in 2018. It took me a really long time to get that momentum going because I just quite frankly didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. So you learned from your what you didn't do right the first time, and then you had all the,
Yeah.
you know, what you could do better. So you documented this, right, on YouTube, so people can go and watch the series, what you did. In that series, you talked about having lots of products, maybe hundreds of products. How is this possible?
Yeah. So I did document it on all social media platforms. So obviously, if you're watching this, you're probably a YouTube junkie, but it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's on Facebook, it's everywhere. Basically, what I did, I just wanted to keep myself accountable. So it'd be like, hey, this is day one of the Etsy 10K, or sorry, I did another challenge. This is day one of the Etsy like 1K digital product challenge to see how fast I could reach, $1,000 per month. And so I would literally do like, this is day one, this is day two, this is day 73. And I have like 100 plus videos now of each
Wow.
day. I was kind of talk about what was working. Here's the strategies I'm going to try this week. Here's the types of products that I'm creating. But to answer your question, how did I get hundreds of products? What I did was called the template method. And I know
Okay.
you as a POD seller, this is very popular in POD, but for some reason, it's not as popular in the printable digital products world. So what I would do is, let's go back to the planner example. I would create a base template. So let's just say I have like a really good looking planner. And then from that
Mhm.
base template, I would then create a bunch of different variations of that product based on the keyword research. So like I would have this beautiful, just regular planner, and then I could make a couple tweaks, change a couple elements, maybe change the fonts, maybe change some colors. And then within 15 or 20 minutes, I could have a meal planner. Another 15, 20 minutes, I could have a health planner. Within another 15, 20 minutes, I could have a budget planner. And it would just be like subtle tweaks. So I'd spend a really long time creating that one really nice base template. And then I would create dozens, in some cases 50 plus product variations based on keyword research. Or like another one was like a thank you card. You could just create a really nice base thank you card and then just customize it for every holiday, every event, everything throughout the year. And instead of spending hours creating each new product from scratch, you're just starting from a base template and then using what I like to call the template method to then just multiply that into a bunch of different printables or digital products based on the keyword research. Again, this isn't you just going in randomly making 50 variations of a product. Like I would go in, and if I was creating a planner, I would type in planner to like eRank or Everbee or Insight Factory, or pick whatever keyword research tool you like, and then seeing which ones have search volume, which ones have like lighter competition, and then I would go and create those variations of those products. So that was kind of how I was able to scale to a couple hundred products in a few months, and some of those products did really, really well.
Wow, that's a good strategy. I like that. So you took the research and then you kind of just scaled it up, so give
Exactly.
you a better
Yeah.
chance of getting some sales. Now, if somebody wants to follow you and sees this challenge, and wants to start a new Etsy store, maybe they have an Etsy store already. What in your experience, what have you seen that's kind of like the biggest mistakes that new sellers do when they're starting with Etsy?
The first one I already talked about, and that is just creating on a whim with no keyword research, no data to back it up, just like
Mm,
randomly creating a product because you think it's going to be good. One of the
yeah.
first products I created was a 21st birthday drinking game printable, and it made no sales. Just a spoiler
Oh,
alert, it made zero sales. Looking back, the reason why, like, I didn't do any keyword research stuff, and like, no 21-year-olds are going to, people are pumped in the States, they're 21, they can finally go out to the bar or whatever. People aren't sitting at home and printing out a printable to drink with their friends. They're just going to do it. So like I didn't do the research, and so that product just completely flopped. So I think a lot of people will have these like fun ideas in their head, and I think probably because I was 22 at the time when I started that the side hustle, or maybe I was 23. Um, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a great product, and it was awful. So that's one, is just not doing the research before you create. A second one is, I think people do not spend nearly enough time on their main listing image. So a lot of people, so like on YouTube, the
Mm,
thumbnail, like if you don't have a good thumbnail, no one's clicking into your video and watching the video. You get the best video in the world, and if you just have a crappy thumbnail, no one's clicking on it. It is the same thing on Etsy or on any digital product platform. If you don't have a good main listing image, nobody's going to click into that product. Nobody's going to read the description. Nobody's going to see all the awesome features and functions and stuff that you have with that product, because the main listing image is not good enough. So a lot of people will spend like an equal amount of time creating like 10 different listing images. Actually, going back to my template method, not only did I have the like base template for the product itself, I would have templates for listing images. I would have templates for descriptions. I would have templates for titles. So like everything was just go, 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 like cut and paste. I'm changing this from a meal planner to a budget planner. Here are the things I need to change. So it made things a lot faster. But yeah, that main listing image, like you should be spending 80+% of your time, maybe 90% of your time amongst your
Mm,
listing images on that first listing image, because it's the gatekeeper to sales. Like if people are not clicking into your product, if there's other main listing images on the results page that pop up when someone types something into the Etsy search bar, they're going to click on those. They're not going to click on yours if it doesn't look good enough. So I see so many people, they have this amazing product and then they just don't spend enough time. And, they're like, oh, whew, I just spent 5 hours creating this product. I'm just going to whip together some listing images. It's like you're
mm,
kind of doing yourself a disservice, because now people are not going to have a chance to buy that amazing product because the main listing image isn't good enough to catch the buyer's attention. So that's another huge one. I see a lot of people make that mistake. And then the last one is kind of keyword research related, but a lot of people will like mistitle or mistag their products. And I just see this happening so much. Like here's a perfect example. We had someone in our community who was selling, I think it was a meal planner. It's funny enough, I've been using meal planner as an example today,
nice.
but I think they were selling a meal planner, and we ended up going through and looking at their product and like doing some keyword research. And it was mostly like a grocery list. It wasn't really a meal planner. And grocery list was actually a less competitive keyword. Like there's less competition. So they kind of altered some of their titles. Altered some of their titles, altered their title, altered some of their tags to be more grocery list centric versus meal planner centric, even though it was the same
Mm,
exact product. And boom, they started making sales. So I think a lot of people will just like throw up these generic titles or generic tags and hope that it's going to land a sale, when you're probably going to do better doing the keyword research and making sure that you have like the perfect title and tag to be like a niche aligned with what the buyer is searching for. The riches are in the niches. I know it's such a cliche saying, but the more you can niche down, the better. And I guess that's number 4 here, is niching down is so important. Like a lot of people will say, Etsy's so saturated. It's like, well, if you're selling a generic thank you card or a generic invitation, yes, Etsy is saturated. You look on any of these keyword research tools, there's like 50,000 plus competition on those. But if you niche down just a little bit, and instead of a generic thank you card, you have a first grade teacher thank you card, you have a high school basketball coach thank you card, you have a wife is a nurse thank you card. Like when you niche down and you add more adjectives to the beginning of that product, there's going to be far less competition, and the product you're creating is going to be more aligned with what the buyer is searching for. Like, let's talk about a birthday card. Let's say you're buying a birthday card for someone. If you type in, you have a dad, he's 70, he loves golf. If you type in like dad 70th golf birthday card, and one shows up in your search results, and it's like has a big 70, has like a golf tee on it, it's like perfectly aligned with what you're searching for. You're probably going to buy that, not just some generic thank you card that doesn't really speak to what you're searching for. So like the more you can niche down and really align with what the buyer is typing into that Etsy search bar, the more sales you're going to make. So I know that was a whole monologue, Juna. Sorry for that, but trying to just
no,
share
that's
all my knowledge
awesome.
on this.
You got four tips in there,
There we
and
go. 4
that kind
tips
of
off the dome.
answers. Yeah, that's so awesome. I'll make sure to highlight those. But that kind of answers my next question, because I was going to ask you, do you think Etsy is saturated? But you kind of mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, it is saturated like at the main, like the bigger level, but when you niche down, it's not saturated there, right? Is that kind of what you're saying?
That's kind of what I'm saying. And I forget the exact stat, and I'm not exactly sure how accurate it is, but it was something like only 10 or 15% of Etsy sellers are using any type of a keyword research tool to make these
Mm,
informed decisions about what they're selling. So it's like if you're the type of person who's watching a video, an interview like this, if you are in that top 10 or 15%, like you just have such an edge, because now you can again go down to that layer. You can sell the
mhm,
70th golf themed birthday card versus just the regular birthday card. Like once you
right.
start to niche down a couple layers, there is far less competition. Like sometimes I'll even go after products that only have like 50 searches a month and like barely any competition, because I'm like, hey, if I'm the only guy selling this and there's
Hmm.
50 people searching for it, and even 10% of them convert, like let's say there's 5 conversions on something a month, but I'm the only
Yes,
person who sells that specific thing,
you got
and
all
it's like
five. Yeah,
$10 a piece. Hey,
yeah,
I'll take that $50 a month in passive income any day. Cause
absolutely.
like I like to think of each of my products as these mini passive income machines. Like one of them alone might not be able to retire me or allow me to quit my day job. But if I have one making 50 a month, one making 300 a month, one making 500 a month, all of a sudden you have this little passive income army of digital products making you thousands of dollars per month. So that's how I like to think of it. And that's why I'll definitely go after something that's only searched like 50, 100, 200 times a month if there's not much competition. And that's why I think the riches are in the niches.
Nice. Good. Okay. Thanks for explaining that for me. My last question is about seasonal products or seasonal things. You talked a little bit about that earlier. Tell us more about, like, do you like seasonal products, and if so, why?
I'm a huge fan of seasonal products. So
Oh, good.
I actually got started back, it was like around Valentine's Day. So I first started selling digital products. I think I listed my first one in like November or December. And those were the awful months I was telling you about where I created like 20 different products, nothing sold. I actually got my first big break though, Valentine's week. I'd created a bunch of like Valentine's Day products during end of December and January because I knew Valentine's Day was like a huge holiday on Etsy. And I ended up making over $720 in 1 week while I
Wow.
wasn't working. That's the key part here. I was skiing Lake
Mm-hmm.
Tahoe. I'm actually my birthday is on Valentine's Day, so it was like a little ski
Nice.
vacation for my birthday. And I had made like $720 in passive income. It was like the first time I truly experienced like make money while you sleep or make money while you're doing other things. I know we were joking before we hit record here. We just got this mega blizzard. We're recording this in late February. I'm in Massachusetts, and I was out shoveling, and I was still making sales on Etsy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but this time back in February, like years and years ago, 6+ years ago, was the first time I truly experienced passive income. And since then, I have just been such a huge fan of seasonal products because I know I've talked a lot about like keyword research. It's figuring out what people are typing into the Etsy search bar and then creating that product to fill that demand. Well, during holidays, during Valentine's Day, during Christmas, during graduation time, during back to school, during St. Patrick's Day, during Easter, Thanksgiving, Halloween, all these events throughout the year, like just turn the search volume dial up by like 10 or 100x. I mean, I'm sure you can attest, Juna, the
Mm-hmm.
sales
Mm-hmm.
around Christmas time are absolutely
Oh, yeah.
insane. Like the sales numbers are just crazy. I know some sellers who sell like specifically holiday stuff make like 75% of their sales just in the month of December. It's wild. So like if you're not taking it, if you're a seller and you're not taking advantage of seasonal stuff, you're definitely missing out. Like you can sell evergreen stuff as well. You can do the things that aren't attached to a season or a holiday or an event. That's totally cool. But I do love having those seasonal spikes. Like we just had, we're recording this end of February. I just had a
Mm-hmm.
huge spike in both my Etsy shops because of all the Valentine's themed stuff that I had. I'll have huge spikes for St. Patrick's Day. I'll have huge spikes for Easter. So having these kind of throughout the year in my shop just really helps to boost revenue. And the cool thing is, you do this for 1 year. Like, okay, we're recording this in February. You do this for 1 year. If I went and created stuff for this next March, and then in March I was creating stuff for April, and April was creating stuff for May, so on and so forth. After you do that for 1 year, you now have an entire year's catalog of seasonal products that can sell year over year over year. I still
Mm-hmm.
have products I created in 2019 for Christmas, for Valentine's Day, for Easter that sell today in 2026. Like some of my sales from
That's
this past
crazy.
week in 2026 are from 2019 products.
Yes.
So like that's the cool thing about this is like create it once, sell it forever. That's actually a motto we
Yep.
have at Gold City Ventures, and it's true. Like you can, as long as it's not going out of style, like people are still going to buy that thing. So I'm such a huge fan of taking advantage of the seasonality just because the search volume is so crazy. You can make so much money if you know how to capitalize.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love seasonal stuff too. I talk about it on my channel too. I'm exactly what you said. Like once you have the year, it repeats again. So it will sell,
Yep.
Valentine's stuff will probably sell again next year and so on. So cool, man. All right. That's all the questions I had about it. If you want to check out more with Cody and his, tell us more where to find that. Is it on your channel, or where do we find the um, this
Oh, the
thing that you did
thousand
with the
dollar per month
$1,000 a
challenge.
month? Yeah, yeah.
That is on my YouTube channel and it's on all my
Okay,
social media at
okay.
Cody D
I'll put a
Berman
link.
everywhere. But like,
Okay,
yeah, we can link that down below. But for everything printables, digital products, that's at Gold City Ventures. We have a bunch of free resources you guys can check out there and whole
oh, nice.
community. So yeah, I would love to
Tell us
would love
more.
to have
Tell
you
us
and
more about.
tell me June is sent you. Oh yeah, I can tell you more.
Tell us more about Gold City
So
Ventures.
basically, my co-founder Julie and I started Gold City Ventures back in 2019 after we both had some success with digital products. And as you can imagine, people are like, "How did you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? Can you teach me? Can you teach me? Can you teach me?" And so eventually, we're like, "Okay, let's just kind of dump all of the things that we've learned and all the things we know into a course, into a community. Let's create templates for people." And now Gold City Ventures is just this whole ecosystem teaching everyone the A to Z of selling digital products on Etsy and other platforms. So yeah, we have a bunch of
Sweet.
resources there. Check us out, and yeah, let me know that June has sent you,
These
and we'll
these links,
treat you
right?
special.
Yep, yep. We'll put it there. Well, thanks for being on my channel, Cody. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for sharing all your expertise and showing us how it can be done on Etsy even today. Like it's not totally saturated. It works. All the principles that
Even today.
you've done have worked, yeah, even today. So anything else you want to leave with us or we leave with my followers before we cut off here?
I'm just a really huge fan of momentum. I think a lot of people
Mm,
are information junkies and they'll watch 100 different interviews like this, and
yep.
they'll read a bunch of blog articles, they'll watch YouTube videos, they'll listen to podcasts, but they never actually take action. Like I went from 0 to $1,000 per month in 116 days. That's less than 4 months. You might be 4 months away. Like if you haven't started the side hustle, if you're someone who's just itching to like have an extra income stream or whatever, or get some form of passive income, like just start today. It's not gonna You're not going to become rich overnight, but as you continue to chip away, like during this challenge, I only made $184 in month one. And on a dollar per hour scale, like my return wasn't very good. I was spending like 5 to 10 hours a week. So let's call it 10 hours a week, month one. I spent like 40 hours to make 184 bucks. Doesn't seem great, right? Month two, I made 400 bucks. Month three, I made 900 bucks. And then on day 116, that's when I hit the $1,000 per month milestone. And then that $1,000 per month, this is the cool part. After I did this, Juna, I just kind of let the shop sit because I was like, okay, challenge over. Like I have a bunch of different businesses. I have my hands in so many different things. I'm like, okay, let me just kind of chill out now. So that shop pretty much just chugged along at $1,000 per month for the
Wow.
remainder of the year. And then this December, so like a year after I hit that $1,000 per month milestone, I'm like, all right, let's juice this shop up again, see what I can take it to. And that's when I went kind of crazy with some of the Christmas stuff and some of the Thanksgiving and holiday stuff. And I got the shop up to $4,000 a month
Wow.
in less than 30 days this time. So I went from 1K to 4K in under 30 days, like once the shop already
See?
had some traction. So like
Hmm.
again, I want people to take action. Like just take that first step, list that first product, mess around in Canva, whatever design program you want, and yeah, it's one foot after another, and you'll wake up a
Yeah.
year from now, you'll be like, wow, I'm so glad I
Yeah.
started.
And don't stop after just making $80 a month. Like you said, you got to keep going and keep going as it
Keep
grows.
going.
It grows. Yeah. Yep. Good. That's a great final thought, Cody. Hope everyone that wants to do this can learn from you. I'll put the links down here and everything and the link to your challenge so people can see how you did it exactly. It's been a blast. Thanks, Cody, for being on my channel. Hope to have you on again soon. And take
Thanks for
care,
having me,
man.
man.
Yeah.
This is
Take
awesome.
care. And
Thank
that
you so much.
it's been great. We'll see you.